Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Max here. I've got a few orders to pull, not very many. It's still slow. I wanted to talk to you about how to package things, how we package things, and we might get into a fist fight if we ever see Graham and Pops. And we'll just go over a couple things with Facebook, how that's been turning out for you. Give me just a second, I'll get set up and I'll get right back with you. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Max. I am the fast talking flipper. There's Angie, my better half. She's the behind the scenes. Say hi, Angie. Hi. She's so happy to be here. And that's Fonzie. And what's his name? I don't know. I can't remember the guy behind the camera's name. That's Fonzie. They're from dipyourcar.com. Angie will probably throw up a link there. We like to watch car videos too because we're car enthusiasts. That's kind of how we met. And you can see we've got cars, all kinds of different cars out the door. That's part of what we do with selling stuff. We are resellers. We buy low, sell high. Buy it locally and sell it online somewhere for more than we paid for it. Do have a couple other things that we do, but those are our primary things. The main one that we sell on is eBay. That may be changing. A lot of other resellers are shifting and trying to go onto different platforms. So we may be part of that flock and, you know, look at different platforms. We've tried it with Poshmark, but it looks like, yeah, we don't sell a lot of clothes. So may not be something we do there. I don't know. We'll see. But let me get the couple of orders. We only had two since yesterday. We printed and did everything yesterday. Just two for $156.87. Not a ton. And they were weird ones. Both of them sold relatively quickly. One of them was an AEM high flow in-tank fuel pump. This came with one of my part outs, and 3 is where I'm going. Came with one of my part outs. I was cleaning out the trunk, just seeing that there were some other parts and whatnot in the trunk, and I realized that this was in there, and I didn't expect it. Just an easy shipper right here. This normally retails at I want to say ZZ Performance sells this for like 95 bucks. We don't offer a warranty, obviously, with it, so I threw it up at $74.99 plus shipping. Not a bad little sale there because I didn't know that was even part of the sales or part of the thing that I bought, and it sold quickly within a day. Definitely didn't take very long. The other one, this one sold in minutes. We had it sold. The person canceled the sale, and we forgot about it. We didn't relist it, and it sat on our shelf for a long time. And when we did inventory, we found it again, and it is a vintage Coleman compact 2-burner gas camp stove. You see these a lot. You'll find these. This is Q3. I'll have to find this one. You'll find these out in the wild pretty often, and we always try to pick them up if they're not ridiculously priced. I think this is it right here. Yep. It says grill right on it. If they're not ridiculously priced, we will pick them up and, you know, post them for sale. They usually fetch a few bucks. Some models are better than others. Better condition, the quicker it'll sell. We relisted this yesterday. What did it take, 30 minutes? An hour? Yeah, it took no time. By the time we listed it and went inside, it sold. Like, we sat on the couch and was like, ding! Okay, cool, fantastic. And not a bad little sale. Sold for $39.99 plus shipping. So that was an easy one, and it's super simple. Get yourself a box. I think this is our 181410 box, one of the ones that we keep up top there. Put it in, some paper on the bottom, cut it down, paper on the top, fold it over, good to go. Ship it off to its new home. Speaking of shipping, I mentioned it before in the last video, I think that Angie was in. Our buddies at Grams and Pops, I want to say retail shop just because it sounds good, but I think it's Grams and Pops Treasures or something along those lines. We had a little debate online about how to ship some stuff, and they posted a video on how they ship DVDs. And it made me cringe. It 100% made me cringe. Essentially what they do is they have a box about this size. This is our 10 by 6 by 4 box. And they will build that box like they would a normal shipping, a normal item for shipping. I'm just going to go over here and grab a random game. This is a Wii game. This is roughly the size of a DVD, give or take. And they would build this box out, put this guy in there, and then cut the box down. Wrap this in bubble wrap, put it in, cut the box down. And it made me cringe to no end. So I did some research on how much that would cost me, because in what I do for a game like that is I'd grab one of these guys, just a poly mailer, and slide that booger right on in there, put a label on it, and be done. Takes me no time at all. easy shipper. And I think that 90% of people would do that. Probably more than that, 99% of people. And I just could not. Now, there are exceptions. If this was Silent Hill 2 for PS2, you know, $100 game or some other game, yes, it would get shipped in something crazy. It would get a box. It would get, you know, its own special shipping way. I'm not going to throw a cheap game, or excuse me, an expensive game into just a poly mailer, because I do recognize that this, shipping it inside of a box, is a better solution than shipping it in a poly mailer. That's not the point. The point is mitigate your risk. This box cost me 47 cents. I looked it up. Not a ton, right? 47 cents for a 10 by 6 by 4. And these are nice boxes. These are not your cheap, in comparison. So not the cheap boxes that you get from the post office. These are nice, good quality, sturdy boxes. My 10 by 6, I think this is actually a 9 by 6, but my 10 by 6, when I buy them, cost me 17 cents a piece. You can see that that is 30 cents cheaper than that guy. If I'm concerned that this might get damaged in a poly mailer, what I'll do is I'll grab a bigger poly mailer. I'll put that poly mailer in this poly mailer. I'll put the poly mailer in, and then I'll fold this over and make it a triple layer. And that way, you know, if I'm concerned, it will be, you know, well protected. This poly mailer cost me 23 cents. 17 plus 23, and my math is telling me 40 cents. 40 cents for 2 poly mailers. And way quicker than building out this box and cutting it down and then having the excess materials kicking around. I would guess it's going to take you to do all that 3 or 4 minutes. Easily 3 or 4 minutes to cut it all down. And then you also have risk involved because you're actually using the knife and wielding things crazy and going nuts. So with that, I can't see for a game, do you have any idea what we have The Sims 3 listed at?
Probably $4.99.
Yeah, these games are ridiculously cheap. I could not imagine spending that much time, no matter the game, because I would expect that to show up. And that was one of their comments, was we would expect this to show up to us like this. So we would expect a DVD to show up to like this. Now, one thing they did mention was that people were shipping, they had gotten games or DVDs shipped in just a poly mailer. That's a little too little, I think. I wouldn't ship something like that necessarily in a poly mailer. That's not quite enough protection. I will say that the poly mailer is too thin. That's not enough. I know I did say poly mailer before in the last video, but what I meant was bubble mailer. I would ship them in bubble mailers. I would never ship in a poly mailer. That's too little. I just don't see the point in that little of a material. But I also can't see the point of using a box. That's too much of my time. And that kind of stuff spills over. That kind of mentality will end up spilling over, I'm afraid, into other areas. When you're okay, you know, people say, well, it's only a few cents more. Even if I did this too, you know, the 2 bubble mailers here, 7 cents more of 40 cents is still 20% more in materials. When you start to expand that out, you really, once you get to the $100 level, nobody would spend $20 more for no reason at $100, but you'll do it here because it's only 7 cents. Well, this is where you start to, when you really dig down into the weeds, that's where you start to make your money, and you try to streamline all your processes. So that's one of the things that I see why they do it. I understand why they do it. I don't agree with it. I do not agree with it at all. And it kind of was like, oh God, it's a cringe video. Oh my dear Lord. So that's how I would ship those. Like, you know, for something simple like this, how I ship this is 100% how I ship the grill. There's paper on top, paper on the bottom. That's how it's going out. This guy, I don't know if it'll fit in a 6 by 6 by 6. It'll go out like that, which I think it will. And it might get some paper in it. Yeah. It'll fit 666 there, and it'll just get paper around it. This is a pretty robust piece. It should be packaged inside of there. AEM is a high quality company if you're familiar with car parts. there should be packaging material inside of there that keeps it from the edges of the box, so I'm not really concerned. So I would just, you know, put this in a 666 like that and be done with it and call it good. Matter of fact, I might just go ahead and show how I do that there, just to get it done real quick. So AEM, definitely good quality car parts. If you ever are out and about and you see AEM on a table and, you know, being sold at a yard sale, you should definitely look into it, because it's something that, well, maybe I won't, because it's just a touch on the long side. Yep, I don't think it's going to fit in here. Just quite, not quite. There it goes. Yep. So you see in there, it makes it in sideways. The flaps on the bottom make it to where it doesn't want to fit. But I can throw some paper in there. Throw paper in there like that. So, more paper on top. Stuff the edges of the paper down around the sides. Fold over the lips. Now Angie went from watching car videos, she's watching casino videos. There you go, just like that. Super simple. And it's just that easy. It took, you know what, a minute. It took me longer to package that than it normally would, because I was fighting around a camera. So it takes about a minute to package something simple in the smallest package. This is why I buy materials as opposed to going out and trying to find materials, because I know what I have on my shelf. I never have to guess or find a box. I always know what's here. So that's my end about all the shipping and whatnot. Remember to comment about it, to like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Going back to Facebook, it hasn't gotten any better. Has not gotten any better. Matter of fact, I got a message from a guy, it was yesterday or the day before, and he asked one word, alternator, Altaneater. I had to think about how you spell it that wrong. Altaneater. Alternator. Obviously, he wanted a alternator. Now, he asked about an alternator for one of those HHRs. Now, they have a specific motor in them, and I believe that that alternator is only specific to that particular motor. A lot of people have base model HHRs with a 2.2 liter. Those have a 2.0 liter in them. So the alternator for those particular cars is different. So I asked for a 2.0 question mark. His reply, what? I had enough of the internet for that day. Needless to say, I haven't heard from him again. You know, if you can't qualify yourself as a buyer by at least knowing what you have and what you're after, then I don't have time for you as a seller. It's becoming increasingly painful. And the more comments I get from you guys, the more I'm seeing that I'm not the only one. We're going to continue to sell some normal stuff on local pickup and whatnot, but for the most part, we're going to shift everything over. You can see I've got a pile of car parts here that are my next in the pile. We did pick up some toys, probably overpaid a little bit for these. I got this giant box of toys and a giant bag of Imagine Next, and I think some more toys down there. We've already listed a bunch. She's got more on the table here. Got all these for 140 bucks. Probably wasn't the best buy, but we needed something to list. We needed some inventory, and it's fun inventory. It's the micro machines to me are cool. I remember the micro machines when I was growing up, so it's neat to see those. Got a bunch of stuff like that, and we'll just list that all out. It'll definitely be more than our money's worth. We'll probably triple, quadruple our money off of it, but it's a lot of slow, long sells. Stuff like the battery charger and the motor oil can, those came out of there. Listed all 3 of the motor oil cans and the 2 battery chargers because they're incomplete play sets, but they're cool just to have sitting on a shelf like we do there. I think I listed them for $39.99 or $29.99, something like that. Yeah, I found that after I saw that. I found that after I'd already listed it. I don't know if it's complete or not, but yeah, it looks like it's about the same condition. No, actually it's less. So there's 2 hoses that are supposed to be with it. But yeah, that's just cool stuff to have. Neat little trinkets and doodads and whatnots. Makes it a lot more fun to list. That was the probably the coolest piece. The blaster, the projector blaster.
It works too, by the way.
It does work. Nice. I couldn't figure out how to make it work, but Angie got it to work. They put batteries in it, she said. That's why it's so complicated. I can't figure things out. So anyway, I'm going to get off here. It is a Friday night, and going to get back to work. At least act like I'm working, get this stuff packaged and shipped. Well, it's already packaged, thanks to you guys. And get it shipped out, put some labels on. Like I said before, comment, like, subscribe, do all that stuff. Share with your friends, share with your neighbors, share with everybody. Like to hear what you have to think. Inching very close to that 100 if by the time you see this video we're not already at 100. So we'll be doing our giveaway. As soon as I see that happen, I'll figure out how to do it. I know there's a way. I just have to figure it all out. Let me know what you think. Like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. And until the next one, I keep screwing this up. I'm going to continue to screw this up until I don't, because that's how it works, right? We'll see you on the next one.